Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. Today's target is to solve question number 5.21. Chapter is cost, profit, volume analysis. We have already solved plenty of questions, so you have complete idea the format of the question, performer of the question, statements, helping statements, supporting statements, everything you have completely in your mind. But the thing is, when you have a statement, that doesn't mean there is no change in the question. We have variations, we have different scenarios according to the organizational needs. So here we have our question, and starting from here, name of organization, this and that, and we have sale 15 per unit, variable expenses 6 per unit, fixed expenses 180, and he wants us to calculate products CM ratio. Okay, so first requirement is to calculate contribution margin ratio, which is relationship between CM and sales. For that purpose, we will be calculating our CM, contribution margin. How? We need to have, if you want to calculate CM per unit, you need to have sale per unit and will subtract variable cost per unit. And as you have seen, everything has been given in the question. So first you can see sells 15 per unit. So it's a sale price per unit. Put 15 over here, and then you need variable cost per unit. Variable expenses are also mentioned over here, which is 6. So naturally you will subtract 6 over here. What we have done, sales per unit minus variable cost per unit. Sale per unit is here, variable cost 6. So you have got the statement, and now it's time to calculate 15 minus 6. You have 9 as CM per unit. Okay, so here CM ratio can be calculated per unit. CM 9 we have seen, and we need to divide it per unit sales. Sale price is 15. So here our statement is completed. Now we can, it is picking as date, so we'll have to put some brackets so that Excel cannot consider it as, okay, just I'm putting the decimal to save it. Now we can put it on our calculator. 9 divided by 15, so it's 0.6. This answer would be considered in terms of times, but if you want to write it in terms of percentage, what you will do, you will take this answer and will multiply with 100. So here 60% you can mention over here. It's 60 in terms of percentage. So both answers are correct. If you will write in terms of time, okay. If you will write in terms of percentage, it would also be okay. Let's see. Now here is our first point. 60% is the answer, and we have calculated 60% as well. Next, use the CM ratio to determine break-even point in terms of sales dollars. Okay. Second point is to calculate break-even point, but in terms of dollar or sales or amount. How do we calculate break-even point? We need to have fixed cost. It would be divided by CM ratio for sales. Fixed cost is given in the question. As you can see, 1,80,000 is your fixed expenses. We are open to put it 1,80,000, and we need to divide it by CM ratio. This CM ratio we have calculated, we will be putting in terms of times. Now divided 1,80,000, 0.6. So we have got our break-even sales, and you can see that break-even sales 3 lakh is mentioned for the second. So two elements or 2 points we have clarified, and next three. Company estimates sale will increase by 45,000 during the coming year due to increase in demand. By how much should net operating income increase? Obviously, you will have to make an old income statement, and then there will be an increase. So for third, we are going to calculate few helping statements. How you need to get number of units first. As you can see, numbers are not mentioned, and without number you will not be able to make income statement. Since they are talking about break even point, so we will be calculating break even point in terms of units. So how do you calculate in terms of unit? For that you need fixed cost, and that would be divided by CM per unit. And can you see CM per unit has already been calculated, sale per unit minus variable cost per unit. 9 is CM per unit, we have already calculated. So we can put directly fixed cost is mentioned over here, 1,80,000. So put 1,80,000 as fixed cost and divide by CM per unit, which is 9. Statement completed. Now we can calculate it, 1,80,000 divided by 9. So 20,000 units are break even number of units. So here we are going to create old income statement according to break even point. According to break even point, we will calculate our old income statement. And for that, to make income statement, what do you need? Very first thing is to write sales, then variable cost, we will get contribution margin, then we need to subtract our variable cost, we will get net margin. This is our contribution margin format income statement, and here we do write our units, then per unit, and finally we will be calculating the amount. Okay, units you have calculated in part 3, 20,000. And as you know, units of sale will always be same to the units of variable cost. Per unit sale price is given in the question, which is 15. So put 15 over here. Variable cost is also mentioned in the question. Variable cost is 6. So you can put 6 over here. And your fixed expenses, 1,80,000, is also mentioned, and here it was less variable cost, sorry, less fixed cost. So our fixed expenses 1,80,000 is also mentioned. So these are the things which are available in the question, and now we will calculate amounts. First, to calculate sale, we need to multiply units with per unit to get our amount. So how many number of unit? 20,000 we have already mentioned, and we need to multiply it with per unit, which is 15. So amount has been calculated. Here we are making income statement. Now we will calculate our variable cost, units multiplied by per unit. Units are 20,000 and it would be multiplied by per unit, which is 6. So we have calculated variable cost as well. It's time to calculate our contribution margin, which is difference between variable cost and sales. So how much sales? 3 lakh. To calculate difference, we will subtract variable cost, which is 1,20,000. So here we have got our contribution margin, which is 180. Now we can calculate our net margin, which is difference between fixed cost and contribution margin. So our contribution margin is 1,80,000 and fixed cost is also 1,80,000. Net margin is 0. Why? Because we have calculated according to break even point. And under break even point, you will always be a situation of no profit, no loss. So we are not getting any profit, at the same time we are not facing any loss. Actually, question was different. He was asking us that if sale will increase by 45,000. So now we will be making second statement or new statement, for which what I am doing, I'm just hiring these headings and using to make new statement. It's little easy for me, but for you, obviously, you will be considering to write them again. Okay, so it has been said in the question, this is number 3, sale would be increased by 45,000. Come down. Here is your sales 3 lakh, old sales, and he wants us to increase this sale by 45. To increase, what you will do, you will add how much increase, 45,000 is said over there. So new sale price would be 3,45,000, and then we have variable cost. Obviously it would be changed. Your old variable cost is 1,20,000. Okay, I have told you a desi formula for new variable cost. How? You will take old VC, variable cost, and it would be divided by old sales and will multiply by new sales. This is the simplest formula with which you can calculate this variable cost. Old variable cost here 1,20,000 you can put directly, and was divided by old sales, which is 3 lakh. Put over here, close your brackets, and you need to multiply it with new sale, which is 3,45,000. So in this way we can calculate our new variable cost. So put 1,38,000 new variable cost over here. Contribution margin we can calculate, which is difference between variable cost and sales. Sale is 3,40,000. To calculate the difference, we will subtract variable cost. We will subtract variable cost, which is 1,38,000. So we have got our contribution margin. And as you know, fixed cost will remain same no matter how many number of units we are making. Now finally, fixed cost we have calculated for the new statement. Net margin we are open to calculate, which is difference between fixed cost and contribution margin. And here contribution margin is 2,07,000, and you need to subtract fixed cost, which is 1,80,000. So we have also calculated contribution margin, which does mean if you will increase sales by 45,000, this is our new income statement. By increasing sales as 45,000, it should be written like with increasing sale by 45,000. So now we understood that if you will increase your sale from 3 lakh to 3,45,000, your income from 0 will grow up to 27,000. Let's see in question what is your answer. Here you can see for third point we have 27,000. 60% 3 lakh and 27,000. 60% 3 lakh and 27,000. We have sorted out. So 3 points have been clarified. We are now going to see fourth point come up. Fourth point, an income statement has been mentioned over here. We can clearly see it. Assume that operating result for the last year. So this is old income statement. Actually the print was little bad, so I have written amounts and mentioned these amounts. Although I can read it clearly, this is 360, this is 144, this is 216, but for your convenience I have written the amounts. First requirement for 4 is compute the degree of operating leverage. And I'm very hopeful some of you must have in mind the formula of degree of operating leverage. Let me see the spelling. Spellings are leverage. Okay, we have done the same. Degree of operating leverage can be calculated by dividing contribution contribution margin by net margin. All right, so we have our contribution margin and net margin in fourth part. Look, whatever we have done in part 1, part 2 and part 3, we are not concerned. These are independent parts. So we will not be looking anything which is present in point 1, 2, 3. And now we will see how much contribution, that is 2,16,000. You can see bold amount is 2,16,000 contribution margin. So you can put 2,16,000 over here, and it would be divided by net margin. Net margin is 36,000. So we will put 36,000 over here, and what is over here? It is net margin. Actually, I was going to correct the spelling. Sometimes it is important. Okay, so here we have net margin. Statement is completed. Put it on your calculator. 2,16,000 divided by 36,000. So we have our degree of operating leverage. Let's check it out. Fourth A part, compute degree of operating leverage. First answer is 6. So we have completed 4A part and answer has been matched, which is 6. Now we will see what fourth B is for us. What 4B is bringing for us. The president expects sale to increase by 15%. By how much should net operating income increases? For that, you will have to keep it in mind. This is your old structure, and whatever is present over here, we are totally dependent upon here, and we are going to increase 15% of sales, and will bring new income statement beside it. For that, first item would be sales, and then you will subtract your variable costs. We will get contribution margin, and next we will subtract fixed costs to get net margin. Okay, and for sales, number of units we'll have to see. No units are provided over here. Sale was 3,60,000, and we are asked to increase the sale by 15%. We'll have to calculate it. How? New sales, if you want to calculate, you must have old sales and then see how much increment has been made. Old sale was 3,60,000. You will put over here, and how much increment is 15%. Look here, increase by 15%. So what you will do, you will calculate its increment. What formula you will use? It's very simple. 3,60,000 is old sales, and we are asked to calculate 15% as increment. Now we are putting it on our calculator. 3,60,000. We are going to add what? 3,60,000 multiplied by 15 divided by 100. So in this way our new sales has been arrived. Here we will be putting units, then per unit, and then we will be calculating amount. Our amount has been arrived. As we have calculated 4,14,000, it's our new sales. So kindly understand that if you have new sale, obviously variable cost will also be altered. Old variable cost is 144,000, and I have just introduced a desi formula for calculation of new variable cost. What you will do, you will take old VC and will divide by old sales and will multiply by new sales. With this, we can calculate our new variable cost. So old VC, which was present in our question, here variable expenses are 144,000. So old variable cost is 144,000 and old sale is mentioned over here 3,60,000. So you can divide it by 3,60,000 and finally you will be multiplying with new sales, and we have calculated our new sales which is 4,14,000. So come up over here and new sale is 4,14,000. What we are doing, hopefully you understood that if your sale will change, your variable cost will also be altered. So new variable cost to calculate, we have this formula and we are now going to put this formula on our calculator. Bracket open, 144,000 old VC divided by 3,60,000 old sales, and then it would be multiplied by new sales 4,14,000. We have calculated our new variable cost as well, which is how much? 1,65,600. So in this way we are making new income statement over here. New sale we have calculated according to the statement which was given in the book to increase by 15%, and new variable cost we have used our formula to calculate new variable cost. Contribution margin can be calculated over here, which is difference between fixed variable cost and sales. Our sale amount of sale is for like 14,000, and to calculate the difference we will subtract variable cost. So here our contribution margin has arrived. Fixed cost, as you have complete idea, no matter whatever the level of production is, your fixed cost will remain same, which is 1,80,000. So we are putting 1,80,000 over here. Now we are going to calculate net margin, which is difference between fixed cost and contribution margin. Okay, then your contribution margin is 2,48,400. To calculate the difference, we will subtract fixed cost, which is 1,80,000. In this way, we have calculated net margin as well. Okay, guys, now net margin will become 68,400. What we have done, we have increased our sale from 360 to 414. Our variable cost have been changed from 144 to 165, due to which our net profit has increased from old net profit was 36,000 and new net profit is 68,400. So we will see how much increase has been made. Increase in net margin. For that we will see how much was old margin and you will subtract new margin. It's better to write new margin over here and then old margin would be put over here. So see, your new net margin is 68,400 and you will subtract your old margin, which was actually 36,000. So come over here and write down 36,000. Statement completed. Now you can calculate it. 68,400 minus 36,000. So 32,400 is the amount by which our net margin has been increased. So this was the requirement. First read out, by how much should net income be increased? This is your answer, 32,400. Our income has increased, total increase was 68,400. By how much it has been increased? Old was 36,000, new margin was 68,400. It means 32,400 our income has been increased. This was for B part. Let's see what is next for us, and we are going to solve point number 5. For fifth point, we will see what is its requirement. Read out. Refer to the original data. It means whatever is happened in 1, 2, 3, 4, we are not concerned with that. Refer to the original data. Assume that company sold 28,000 last year. So here they are mentioning that these are 28,000 units. This income statement is related with 28,000. The sale manager is convinced 10% reduction in selling price combined with 70,000 increase in advertisement expenditures would increase annual unit sales by 50%. Prepare two contribution format income statements. Okay, first we will make old income statement and then we will make new income statement. Although this is your referral income statement, we will use the original data. We are not concerned with these referrals. Original data we will go and will make income statement by using 28,000 units. So fifth point, again we are doing the same thing. We will be making income statement, for which very first thing is to have sales, then less we will subtract variable cost to get our contribution margin, and then we will subtract fixed cost to get net margin. Okay, and you can see that units has been described. First we will write units over here, then per unit, and finally we will see the amount. Units were mentioned 28,000, and units for sales and variable costs would always be similar. So 28,000 units would also be used for variable cost. Original data we have to follow. Look here what has been said, refer to the original data. So we will go up, we will see the sale price is 15 and variable cost is 6. So you will be using the same 15 and 6 variable cost for calculation. Keep it in mind, we are making old income statement. That is why we are using the data which was given originally in the question. And finally, we can write fixed cost over here, which is 1,80,000. So we can put the same 1,80,000 fixed cost. As you know that units have been changed, but even then our fixed cost would not be changed, fixed cost would remain same. It's time to calculate the missing figures. Sale is not present. We can calculate by multiplying units into per unit. Units are 28,000. It would be multiplied by per unit, which is 15. Amount of sale has arrived 4,20,000. Now variable cost we will determine by multiplying units into per unit. So here units are 28,000 and it would be multiplied by per unit, which is 6. So we have got our variable cost. At this stage we can calculate contribution margin, which is difference between variable cost and sales. So variable total sale is 4,20,000. Variable cost is 1,68,000. We have got our contribution margin. Now we can calculate our net margin, which is difference between fixed cost and contribution margin. So here our contribution margin is 2,52,000. Subtract fixed cost 1,80,000. We have got our net margin as well. This is old statement, original statement, and now we are going to make new income statement. How? because there are some changes he wants us to make. New statement would be made, and for that I am using all headings of previous part because it's little easy for me, but for you, you will be making everything by hand in new way. Let me take it again. Okay, so we have income statement again, and we will observe what changes in question is asked to make here. Now see what is step by step we will go. Assume that company sold 28,000. Okay. The sale manager is convinced that 10% reduction in selling price. So first element we have got 10% reduction. 15 was the original price. Okay, we want to reduce it. 15 was original price. To reduce, what you will do? Subtract how much they are asking to decrease. 10% reduction. So we will take 10% of 15. So 15 multiplied by 10 divided by 100. Now please understand 15 was cost. 15 was original uh, sale price per unit, and they are asking to reduce the selling price by 10%. So we have taken 10% of 15, which would be subtracted. This way your new selling price is 13.5. Come over here. We were asked to sale manager convinced 10% reduction in selling price. So we have, you can see over here, 15 was original price and 10% was reduced. First element has been put. Now see what next. Combined with 70,000 increase in advertising expenditure. Advertising means no matter how many number of units you are sold, this payment would be fixed. So 70,000, as it is not concerned with per unit. So he wants us to increase our fixed expenses by 70,000. Okay. Fixed cost here was 1,80,000. Please understand it. Old fixed cost was 1,80,000. You need to increase. To increase, you will add how much? He is saying to increase 75,000. Let me see again. I forgot how much amount. 70,000. Okay. So here we are going to add 70,000. In this way, our fixed cost has also been changed. Two changes we have made, but let's see what is next. Would increase annual sales by 50%. We were already selling 28,000 units and 50% would be increased. How? 28,000 old. To increase, you will add 50% of 28,000. So you will multiply it with 50 and will divide by 100. So in this way, your new sales units have been arrived. 28,000 it is. So 42,000 would be the new units. What is said to us? Sales by 50%. 28,000 were old units and you have added next 50%. And finally, units for sales would be similar for units of cost. Since all three changes have been made and there is no discussion about variable cost, as you can see, and no change in variable cost, so we will use the same variable cost which was present over here, 6. Okay, write down 6 over here. Everything has been completed. Now it's time to calculate its amounts. We have to calculate sale, we have number of units 42,000. To calculate sales, we will multiply it with per unit 13.5. Sales amount has been arrived. Now to calculate variable cost, we have units 42,000 and it would be multiplied with per unit, which is 6. So we have got our variable cost. It's time to calculate contribution margin. How? Which is the difference between variable cost and sales. Sale is 5,67,000 and variable cost is 2,52,000. Contribution margin has been calculated. We can now calculate net margin, which is difference between fixed cost and contribution margin. Your contribution margin is 3,15,000 and your fixed cost is 2,50,000. So we have got our net margin as well. Now there are two net margin. This is your old and 65,000 is your new net margin. Come to the question. You can see 72,000 and 65,000 is mentioned over here. So you can see over here 72, 65,000. It means our all points have been sorted out. Fifth place 72, 65,000 also matched. If these changes are made, would you recommend that company do as the sale manager suggests? So now it's simple thing, you will be deciding it. This was your old statement. We can mention over here, old statement was showing this, and it is your new statement here. You will be writing new. Changes we have made is this. Look, original sale price was 15 and you have decreased your sale price to 13.5. Obviously, the purpose of decreasing sale price is to increase the per unit sale price is to increase the volume of sales, which has been increased. Initially you were selling 28,000 units and after change you were selling 42,000. You were selling for 4,42,000 originally, but after decreasing sale price your sale has been increased up till 5,6,7,000. It was a positive gesture, it was a welcoming gesture because your amount of sale has been increased. But what had happened? Your net margin, when your sale was at original level, it was 72,000. And even after a good gesture, even after increase in your sale, your net margin had become 65,000. So please keep your mind as a manager. It is not necessary that if you will decrease your per unit sale, demand will increase, amount of sale will increase, but that would not assure you that your net margin would also be increased. So keep it in mind. Here from 72,000, our net margin decreased to 65,000. So decision which we are asked to make is no. Manager suggestion should be rejected as net margin after change is decreased. So net margin if we decrease, there will not be any benefit of such changes. So simple answer is no. In this way we have completed our question. Step by step we have completed everything. If the very important matter is to review, first answer was 60%. Here you have calculated 60%, then 3,27,000. So here was your 3 lakh and you have calculated 27. No, we haven't calculated 27,000. What was that? That is why I usually ask you to review your question. Estimate third we should have solved. Okay, this is your 27,000 net margin. We haven't mentioned the number as 3. It was third part. Yes. So for third part, our answer is 27,000. Good. And then fourth was having A part as sixth answer. This is your fourth A part, answer is 6. Okay, we have completed. Then fourth B part has 32,400. Fourth B was here and 32,400. This has also been sorted out, solved. Okay, then fifth part was having 72 and 65,000. Your fifth part 72,000 and 65,000. So reviewing question is very important. Sometimes even after full attention, there might be some section or subsection possibly be missed. So it's better to review question before delivering your paper to exam. Okay, our lecture time for 5.21 has been ended. Solution is completed. But even after spending this much time, if you have any query, any difficulty, any problem regarding this question, you are very open to ask your queries. I'm surely be trying to uh, answer those queries instantly. For the time being, 5.21 has been completed. We will surely be meeting for solution of any other question in future, inshallah. Up till then, please take care of yourself, and I'm requesting you to pray for me as well. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz. Hey guys, hopefully you are doing well. Actually, what had happened, I have concluded the lecture, and suddenly at next page there was sixth point related to same question. And as you know that we were doing question number 5.21, and when I have turned the page, there was another point. Just consider it as a bonus point we have found out. So please, it was very possible to ignore this thing, but I was not letting me myself free of it. I was bound and I have to do it. So please get a little more time to complete this question. Point number 6. Since it was a really interesting matter, that is why I thought to add this part of the question to the original solution. Refer to the original data. It means whatever we have done in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we are not related with, and we are going to change whole question, whole original data according to number 6 statement. Assume again that company sold 28,000 last year. Okay, the president feel that it would be unwise to change the selling price, as in fifth part we have reduced the sale price. But now your president is saying that do not change sale price, instead he wants to increase the sales commission. 2 per unit, this per unit showing it's a variable cost. He thinks that this move combined with some increase in advertising will double the unit sales. So instead of 28,000, you will be able to double your annual unit sales. By how much advertising? Double the units, some increase in advertising. So he is also in the view that advertisement expenses, which are fixed expenses, would also be increased. But here there is something to mention. Amount of advertising has not been confirmed over here, and what he wants us to do, by how much could advertisement be increased? He wants to calculate, he wants us to calculate the amount of advertisement with which what will happen, our remaining with profits remain unchanged. Our profit should not be changed. Look, it's very simple thing, but there is a story behind it. For that you will have to see your income statement, the concept, as you will get your contribution margin, then you will less your fixed cost, less fixed cost, you will get your net margin. So here we are doing. Now please understand, if 28,000 units were sold, and after taking these steps, our units sold have been doubled. When your sale will be increased, obviously your contribution margin would also be increased. But you want to get your same net margin. How is it possible? Okay, this was the interesting story. Now please understand, if your old contribution margin was 10, for example, and your fixed cost was 8, your net margin is 2. Question what is, he thinks that this move combined with advertisement and this and that will double the unit sales. By how much advertisement be increased to with profits remain unchanged? Now please understand, if you will double your unit sales, That means sale is increasing. Variable cost though proportionally will be increased, but contribution margin would also be increased. And say that contribution margin had increased from 10 to 15, for example. We have given, we have increased our contribution margin from 10 to 15 because our number of units had been doubled. But now he wants to get same profit, which was 2. So what you will do, he wants to he wants us to calculate that how much fixed cost would be put over there by increasing advertisement expenses to get the same profit. A simple thing, whatever is increase in contribution margin, same increase you will add in your fixed cost, you will be able to get the same net profit. I'm repeating. What change comes in your contribution margin? Same change if you will do with your fixed cost, you will get same profit. Okay. How much increase we have made in contribution margin? That is 5. So what we will do? We will increase fixed cost with the same change. Change is 5. So here it is 13. Now you will be getting the same profit. Hopefully you have understood the concept. It means if your contribution margin is increasing, you want to get same net margin. How much fixed cost will be increased? For that, whatever change comes in your net contribution margin, same change you will make in your fixed cost. This way you can get your same net margin. Okay, the same thing we are going to do. Here it was your old net margin and this was your new net margin. And the thing you have done is the difference of new and old net margin was added in fixed cost. We can write it so that you can understand in better way. Difference of new net margin and old net margin would be added to fixed cost to get same net margin. Okay, this is our story. Difference of new and old net margin. New net margin was 15, old net margin was 10, the difference was 5, would be added to fixed cost. This 5, if you will add in your fixed cost, you will get the same net margin. Okay, our base has been created and now we will be calculating our new net margin and old net margin. First, we will calculate our old contribution margin. And how would you calculate contribution margin? You will take units. Since you are taking old, so you will take old units sold and will multiply it with old CM per unit. And then you will calculate your new contribution margin. How? With new units sold and it would be multiplied with new CM per unit. Okay, the difference would be put over here and this difference would be added in fixed cost. So we will add the same difference in fixed cost. This difference is actually needed to be calculated. When this difference would be added in fixed cost, as we have added 5 in old fixed cost, we can get the same net margin. Our question requirement is the difference of old and new contribution margin. Now go to the question. We have to go to the original data where it has been assumed that old units are 28,000 So you can put 28,000 over here, and then we need to calculate old CM per unit. For this, you can see your sale is 15, variable cost is 6. So sale minus variable cost would be your CM. Here you can calculate your old CM. How? Sale price and then less VC, you will get CM, you will get your CM. Old sale price was described as 15, old VC was described as 6, so old CM would be sale minus VC. You will get your old CM. Okay, so now this is CM per unit. 28,000 and multiply by 9, with which what you can calculate is your old contribution margin. So we are putting it on calculator, 28,000, and it is being multiplied by 9. So this is our old contribution margin. I'm taking it to here. Okay, now we are going to calculate new units, and it was said that with this policy what would happen? Double annual unit sales. Right now 28,000, when we will double it, what will happen? Our units would be doubled. And how you will make double? 28,000, and we are going to multiply it with 2, so we have got 56,000, double the number of units. Now we will be selling to 56,000, and we need to multiply it with new CM per unit. So for that we will be calculating new CM per unit, just making little more space. Okay, as we have calculated this old, we will be calculating new contribution margin as well. Sales less VC, we will get contribution margin. Contribution margin. New sale price, how much? Same, because he is not willing to change the sale price. How? It would be unwise to change the selling price. So selling price would remain the same, that is 15, and your variable cost would be changed as he is increasing by $2 per unit. Sales commission 2 per unit. Per unit is variable cost. So we will increase our variable cost. Old variable cost was 6 and $2 as commission. Due to this $2, your variable cost would be increased by 2. So in this way, your new variable cost would be 8, and new contribution margin would be calculated by subtracting variable cost from the sale. Sale is 15 and variable cost is 8. So we have our new contribution margin, and it was old contribution margin. So we will calculate our total contribution margin with the new price, and new contribution margin is 7. Let's calculate it by putting on calculator 56,000, and it would be multiplied by 7. So here we have 252,000 and 92,000, and difference of these two amounts would be 1,40,000. So this is our answer. If you will increase your advertisement expenses, or if you will increase your fixed cost by 140,000, you will get the same profit. This is called incremental approach. With just 2 lines, you will calculate it. Actually, the theme is very important. Understanding is very important. Concept is very important. That concept was explained through this example. So you are just requested to revise the lecture, rewind the lecture, go back and see what we have done over here. The most important part is, if your contribution margin is increasing and you want to get same profit, so obviously you will have to increase your fixed cost in the same manner. that what we have done. We have increased our contribution margin 5 by 5. Same 5, with same 5 we have increased our fixed cost. In both cases we were getting the same net margin. So 1,40,000. So what we have done, difference between new net margin and old net margin was added in fixed cost. So this is our new contribution margin, old contribution margin, and difference would be added in fixed cost to get the same net profit. Actually, I am willing to do something else as well. I need, I'm just willing to make both statements. Though it has been said in the question, you may not make in examination, but just to understanding, just for the understanding, please say it. Do not prepare income statement. He is saying. So in examination, will not be going to make income statements, but right now we will make two income statements with which it would be proved that if you will increase your uh, if you will increase your fixed cost by 140,000, you will get the same profit. First, we will be calculating our old and then we will calculate our new net margin. So after sale, what you will do, you will subtract your variable cost to get contribution margin, then you will subtract fixed cost to get net margin. Okay, now we will calculate our old factor. How would you calculate your sale? Old units were 28,000, hopefully you remember, and you need to multiply it with selling price was 15. Okay, we have just calculated right now over here. So please keep it in mind. I am taking these statements beside our solution so that you can have it in your mind. Okay, I'm putting these things over here. This is old one, above is old, downward is new. So here we will calculate our old income statement, and beside that we will calculate our new income statement so that you can understand in a better way. So our old sale we have calculated how. You can see that old units were 28,000 and old sale price was 15. And now old variable cost, this is 6. Old units were 28,000 and old variable cost was 6. So you have calculated your variable cost. Now calculate contribution margin by subtracting variable cost from sales. Sale is 4,20,000. Your variable cost is 1,68,000. You have calculated your contribution margin. Fixed cost will remain the same, 180,000 as it has been mentioned. And now net margin would be calculated by subtracting fixed cost from contribution margin. Contribution margin 252 and your fixed cost is 180,000. In this way you have calculated your net margin as 72,000. Hopefully you people have understood. This was the old, and we are actually decided to increase fixed cost by 140,000 to get the same profit. Okay, this was our commitment. Now we will see how it had happened. Without calculation we have pre-decided that fixed cost would be increased by 140,000 to get the same profit of 72,000. Understood? That was our commitment. Now for new, units will be doubled, that you have seen over here. We have calculated these, double the number of units. 28,000 were old, we have multiplied it by 2 to get it doubled. So 56,000 would be the unit, and new, this is your new sale price, which is 15. Sale price was not being changed, so new variable cost would be calculated 56,000 and it would be multiplied by new variable cost, which is 8. Now you can calculate your contribution margin, which is difference between variable cost and sales. Sale was 840,000 and variable cost was 448, so it's your new contribution margin. Now he wants us to have the same net margin. This was our commitment and this was with profits remaining unchanged. That was our challenge, not to change the net margin. So how much advertisement expenses would be put over here to get the same net margin? Okay, fixed cost is required to be increased. It's very simple to calculate the missing figure, as we have understood the when missing figure is in between two amounts, we can calculate the difference. So let's calculate the difference between these two amounts, with which we will be able to know how much new fixed cost is. So here is 392,000 and 72,000. We will subtract to calculate the difference. So we have got new fixed cost. Now it's time to see how much change have been done. Old fixed cost would be subtracted from the new. Here was your new fixed cost, and you will subtract your old fixed cost. Why? You want to see advertisement expenses mean fixed cost. How much fixed cost would be increased? This was our question, and we have pre-decided it should be 140,000. So difference between these amounts should be equal to 140,000. So here you have seen this is again 140,000, and the rule was very interesting which we have developed over here. What was that rule? If you want to get same net margin, but you have to increase your fixed cost, how you will fix that without calculation of income statement? That means if you will, if the increase in your if you will follow the increase in contribution margin, same increase would be added in fixed cost. In this way you will get your net margin. You can see that it was your old contribution margin, new contribution margin. This was the difference by which your contribution has been increased. In example, contribution margin was increased by 5. We have added same 5 in fixed cost, by which we have got the same net margin. So difference of new and old was 140. This was to be added in fixed cost to get the same net margin. And now you can see that we have proved it. If fixed cost is increased from 180 to 320, we will get the same net margin. And how much we have increased, that has been proved. It's same amount, 140,000, which was been calculated without any making of income statement. So this was the target. Actually in exam you will solve only, you will provide only these two lines. You do not need to make your contribution margin income statement. Just two lines were enough, but I was willing to let you understand more. Increase in contribution margin, same increase will be added to the fixed cost. In this way you will get the same net margin. That was the theme. Hopefully you people have understood. If you want to discuss it again, you are open to text message, or you can contact or revise this lecture again. Thank you very much for your additional time. We will meet and we will be discussing other solutions in future soon, inshallah. For the time being, we are taking permission from you. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.